artificial intelligence is a form of echo chamber. What you yell in to the echo chamber is what comes out. And you can have the echo chamber in this instance change shapes according to what is yelled in and when. And you can also have it either, parts of the walls will either absorb sound or re-emit that sound which they absorb depending on the frequencies of what's yelled in. So you can see that if you yell into a room like this, if it's complicated enough, you can actually get an answer because your voice will be absorbed by certain rocks, and the other rocks will re-emit something that somebody else yelled in previously. Now, if you extend this analogy and make the cave bigger, have little pockets of cave attached that your voice can enter into and bounce around inside of there. You take caves and you put them with their doors facing each other so that the answer from one of the caves will enter the other cave and generate another answer, and then that'll come out and go into the other cave, bounce around back and forth. Like, that's pretty close to what you're looking at with one of these. Of course, this is with sound, but with the AIs, that you can yell in a question and you can get very complicated answers depending on what kind of things were yelled in before and from where. Now, we can extend this analogy even further because we can look at it as a crystal cave. All right. And the crystals can either absorb or release light. Right. So you shine lights in there, and your light goes in and bounces off a bunch of stuff. It gets absorbed by some stuff and refracts around other stuff. And the way that it comes back out to you can look like a picture. But it's very important to note that we put everything into the echo chambers and these crystal caves. We put everything into it, and then it comes back out again. There's no magic going on. And I think this is a very good analogy because if you have a computer, what you really have is you have a kind of electricity, a kind of light, right, that cannot see copper, it can't see aluminum, and it can't see gold, and so it ignores those. That's the empty space, right? That's the air in the cave that it's bouncing around in. What it's bouncing off of are the actual logic gates and bits of processing inside. Those are the architecture of the shape of it, right? So you have the empty space, which is the metallic components, and then the gates are when it interacts with the crystalline surfaces. And so literally that is what it is. Now obviously we put in our reflective we put in our light from multiple sources, one of which is just straight up electricity. Like, we're not sending any kind of message, we're just powering the computer. And this helps us retain, if you imagine a crystal that you can shine a light into, and then reactivate the resending of that light, but you can do it multiple times, like an echo, but one that doesn't get weaker. All right, we pump in the energy to make sure that it doesn't get weaker. And that's not really informative energy, that's just maintenance energy, right, of the system. So it's actually a really accurate analogy of how it all works. And I think the only question left is that also what goes on inside of the human mind, or is there some kind of, as Vervaeke said, secret sauce that makes a difference from what that is, right? And I believe my answer would be absolutely, that that a cave of crystals doesn't have free will. There's no choice. There's no picking between. All it is the actions and reactions.